follow, because the more subscribers that I gain, the more the videos get promoted to the to viewers, and the more viewers we get, the more information can be shared. Not just information that I like, but information that is requested, or tips are shared, and I'll share with everybody. So, for example, everything this week has actually been requested by a viewer or a subscriber, and I'm sharing with you. And I said there's a lot of exciting stuff coming up pretty soon. Basically, for the rest of the month, everything has been requested by a viewer or inspired by viewers. So I'll give you an example of that. Is this tutorial was actually kind of requested by a viewer, and it's also based on the one we did yesterday. If you remember yesterday, what we did was we created the CMYK, and then today on that theme, it's changing the color of an image. Yes, you heard me right, color of an image. So, for example, as you can see here in this thumbnail, is you can see this is white shoes. So what I would have done in the past, which still makes sense, is for example, if somebody sees it's red and green, so if somebody wanted a red version of that, I would just load the or have some other thumbnails like a slideshow or something, and then load the red shoes. Or if they want green, load the green shoes. If they want white again, it'll be there. It'll be like either a button like up here, or a drop down, or something like that. That's how I would do it. But one of my viewers wanted to have have one image and change the color. So I'll show you how to do that. Now, of course, this tutorial is a very beginner friendly, so it's going to be very low code, but you guys can take the code I provide and improve on it. So that's basically what we're going to do today. So we're going to dynamically change the color of an image. We're going to use PHP. I was kind of surprised because I thought the viewer would request to do it in JavaScript, but they did want to do it in PHP, so that's perfectly fine. That's what we're going to do today. So so as I said before, we're going to do two colors. So your image has to be white for this to work. So it's a beginner friendly tutorial, so it's going to be red. So then we're going to change it to red, and we're going to change it to green. So that's it. So we're going to use PHP's. PHP by default comes with a GD library, unless you compile it without it. It's expected right there by default. There's other libraries, like example, there's ImageMagick, and you guys have seen me use ImageMagick in the past on the command line. I do it for conversions very quickly, but you can also use the GD library. We're going to, as I said, dynamically change an image color based on the user input, and we're going to integrate the PHP's image manipulation with a simple front end interface using JavaScript. We're going to use the Fetch API. Alright, so you need some basic understanding of PHP and HTML. If you don't know anything about HTML and PHP, don't worry, I got you covered. I got you covered for everything. Don't worry about that. Alright, and you're going to need a local or live web server with PHP support. For example, it could be XAMPP, LAMP, MAMP, WAMP, or a live hosting environment. I'm going to use the PHP's built-in web environment because this is a development tutorial, and you need an image. So the image I generated, I used AI. I used what is that application called? The standard-diffusion.cpp. have tutorials on that, how you can install it. Don't worry, you don't need a fancy GPU. It works perfectly fine on the CPU because we're only generating the images. In fact, when I use it, whether I use Comfy UI or anything, it doesn't use the GPU at all. It just uses the CPU. Now, if you have some, if you have one of a kind of more modern CPU, the integrated graphics might be able to do some of that stuff, either using Vulkan or something. So it might be a little bit faster, but don't worry. You should be able to generate an image in probably a minute. If your CPU is super slow, like maybe your CPU is like maybe 15 years old or whatever, it might take a little longer, but regardless, in anywhere from a few seconds to literally just a few minutes, you'll be able to generate an image. It's 512 by 512, so it shouldn't take too long. Okay, so even on the laptops, I got you covered. I said I made it as super simple as possible. Before we start coding, let's assume you have a white shoe image. So we just renamed it shoe underscore white dot JPEG, and make sure the image is in the same directory as the PHP script. As you see here, I have an index.html5 and a change color.php. So if you're impatient and you want the code, don't worry, I got you covered. You can see here, you can simply just expand, and then you can grab the code for the HTML, and then the PHP, the backend, you can just grab it here, and then you're off to the you can get started right away. So I have some screenshots here just for you to see what it looks like. You see the red one here. This one became the red shoe, and this one became the green shoe. So that's basically what we're doing today. Very, very simple. Now, obviously, if you have a better, obviously, if this was a live, like on a shop or something, e-commerce site, you'd have way better, I would recommend you have possibly like a transparent background without, for example, anything here, and it will just have the shoes, and the shoes will be brightly lit without any shadows. That will obviously make it much easier as well to do the conversion. All right, and then this is the live stream. So, for example, I play this. For example, anything here, you can tell we're live. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right here. I'm going to stop right here, and I'll come back to this later to explain. I said I do have some resources for you if you want to learn PHP or JavaScript and all that. So let's get started with the tutorial here. So I have, I'm using the GNOME text editor. You can use any text editor you want. Because I have the code for you. I recommend having a programming text editor. As you guys know, every week I also review text editors, so you can use any of those. Some are terminal, some are really fancy IDEs, some are really fast programming text editors, and they're all open source. That's one I've explained why I only use open source applications. It's because of licenses, use cases, and all that. So that's the course, and unless somebody can change my mind, that's why I do that. So there's no URA like use cases, you can't use it for this or whatever. That's why I use open source. All right, so I'm going to open up these two files here, and the first file is the it came up with a PHP file, but let's go to the HTML file because that's the easy one to explain. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Oh, the sun is out. The sun came out yesterday as well, which was for the first time this month. So that was nice, and it looks like it's out there today. So I should be able to finish up the shed stuff and have more time to do more tutorials as well, especially the night ones. So obviously we have the doc type, we have HTML, we have the head section, we have the viewport. So this is initial. We just set the width, device width to initial scale. So this allows some small devices like the phones to be able to see instead of getting the desktop version. It will zoom in properly. And then there's a title called change photo color, and then there's a style here. I didn't put any styles, but you can style any way you want. So as I said, styling beauty is subjective. You style it the way you want. And here I have an H1 tag in the body. It says change shoe color. There's two buttons. On click, they will call this function, this JavaScript function called change shoe color. And for example, red, it will be red, and green will be green. And then we have an image here. This is a placeholder, so it's going to have the default shoe here. You see it says shoe white. That's the one that's going to be here. And obviously, when the shoe color changes, this is going to change. So this is the dynamicness or AJAX, meaning that there's no page reloads. So it'll be faster as well. And here's our JavaScript. Very, very little JavaScript here. Let me zoom up a little bit more. Perfect. All right, did I zoom in or did it? Oh, it looks like, I don't know why it does that. Zoom. I click here to zoom. Okay, there we go. Super weird. Okay, so the function is called change shoe color. It takes in one argument, which is a color. And you see, we immediately go to the fetch API. And the URL is the change color.php. With a question mark here, because I could have said post or get, but it doesn't really matter here. So color is set, the color is going to be red or green, and then we get the response. The response is going to be a blob because it's going to be a binary file. And then you guys usually when I do fetch API, you guys always notice it's always JSON. In this case, it's a blob, meaning because it's going to be data. It's going to be an image. Is what I'm getting at. So then from the image, if it's a blob, what I do is I create an image URL. See, it says url.createObject URL image blob, and then I get the shoe. Remember this guy here, this is the ID shoe for the image tag. Then the source will be the image URL, and then if there's any errors, we catch them and just put them out in the console. That's it. See how many lines of code that is? That is 28 lines of HTML, including JavaScript, and obviously it could be more if you add your style there as well. Now, of course, it could even be less if you put the JavaScript and the CSS in a separate file and just link them. So that's our HTML, nice and simple. Let's go check out the PHP. I'm gonna zoom in here as well. So we're gonna send back a header. It's gonna be an image. It's gonna be a JPEG. I'm not sure if PHP now supports WebP and AVIF. I'm pretty much sure they probably support WebP. You know what? I'll check on that in this tutorial. If it is, you can change it. They have specific methods. For example, if there was a PNG file, a JPEG, etc. In this case, it's JPEG because it works nice, and I think it's one of the fewest things to do. I mean in the functions and all that stuff. So what we do is we check to make sure. Remember, you never trust user input, so we have to make sure that the color is actually there. You see, so this is one way. Basically, this is called a tertiary if else or else if. So this basically means if it's set, the get color, we get the color. If it's not, we default to red. Okay, so this is one way to prevent. Remember, I'm not doing any SQL injection, but I'm saying is that you should never trust user input. You should always do some type of sanitization or validation. Okay, so and then the image, we start creating our image. So we grab this image here. It says shoe_white.jpg. So it's always going to be the white image. So we grab it there. Then we grab the image width and height. So this type of stuff I could probably have saved in a database, so then you can skip a step here, but that's perfectly fine. So we get the width and height, and then the colors. Right now there's only two colors to define, so we have red and green. So I don't blindly just trust the color that's coming in from the from the get string. So I define the colors here, so there's only going to be two colors for now. It's going to be red and green. Remember I told you have to sanitize and validate, so don't just trust stuff. So again, if it's one of our colors here, so this is called validation. What I did, you see my point? This is validation. So I'm validating if that color is in one of the ones that I've defined here. So meaning that if somebody put a color like say a black color, it's not in my defined here, so that would not work. So this is called validation. People confuse validation and sanitization. This is validating and making sure it actually matches. You can also call this sanitization, because if it doesn't match, for example, if the spelling is off or whatever, it's not going to work. So this is a perfect way. I said never trust user input. You should always have validation and sanitization. It doesn't matter the order, but you should always have them. Okay, so for example, if none of the colors, if it's none of the color, then it will default to red. Okay, that's one way for writing less code. There's a default which will be red. So I could probably even just, if another way to do this, you could simply have just left it as nothing. I do nothing as well. That's another option, but I'm saying this is just a faster way to write code. So we just have a default which will be red. Then what we do is we're going to loop through all the pixels of this image, and we're going to be looking for a specific color. So what we're going to do is basically we're just using simple for loops here. For loops and another for loops, or it's because it's X, Y. So obviously the first for loop, the outer loop, is going through the X's, the second one is going through the Y's. And then what we're doing is we're grabbing the color. You see, we're gonna grab the color. You see, it's the image color at. So for example, if we start right here, let me open up this image to show you what I'm talking about. If we start at, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Yeah, so here. So if we start right here at 0, 0, It's going to be, I think it's going to be a darkish color, it might even be pure black. So what we're doing is we ignore that one. So what we're going to look for is when we see a white color, then that's the one we're going to change. That's why, for example, if you notice some of the thumbnails, like the where the shoelace goes in here and then the back here, that one is not white. You see it's kind of grayish. So that's why I was saying, like, make sure your image is white, and it worked much better. For example, even here, there's a little bit of a problem. Even here, the little shadows. That's what I say, make sure your image doesn't have any shadows. For example, like here and whatever. Yeah, if it has no shadows, if it's pure white, obviously it'll work much better. And I said, like, that's why I say, like, intensify it so much that there's no shadows, then it will come out, this will work actually even much better than expected. So back to our here, so the color add, we grab the RGB there, and then what we do is, so we get the R, G, and B, and you see here we're saying if the RGB is this or this or this, then we change the RGB there. That's basically it. We use image set pixel, so we change the pixel at that particular X and Y axis. So as I said before, we're looking for anything that is white, and then we're changing it. So basically, now white is, you might be wondering, wait a minute, white is 255. Hello Dish, 255. Why did you put 200 here? Because 200 is, it's like a eggshell-ish. That's good enough. I will show you guys that I'll prove to that in a second as well. So I mean, obviously you can go a little bit lower, but that's good enough for us. So that's how we change it. So RGB, then we change that, we set that pixel there. Then when we're finished, we create a JPEG. There's PHP has a built-in function called image JPEG, so we use that to create a new image, and then we clean up, we destroy that image. And then obviously, because we have the header here, so when this is going on, it's automatically sending the when we do this part here where it says image JPEG, it will create it and automatically give it out, send it using the fetch API. So that's it. That's our code right there. Now I'm going to drop to the command line. I'm going to start up a PHP server, so it's PHP space hyphen S space. I'm going to use 0.0.0.0 instead of putting a local host or IP address, because I want this to be able to I want to be able to get to this from other devices on the network. And then colon, I'll use 8000. And you can see it says PHP development server started. I'm still on PHP 8.4. I probably won't use PHP 8.5 unless I do it in a container until spring, when the new version of Fedora comes out. Okay, so you can see it. So I can go to http ://0.0.0.0 So because I'm using 0000, I can also this is the same thing as 127.0.0.1 or the IP address of this workstation. So that's why I did it that way. All right, there's another thing I'm going to do. I'm going to take a short break, grab a drink of water, and check the live chats. Okay, so I'm checking Odyssey first. Right. Okay, Odyssey doesn't have live chat yet. I'm going to go and check on Rumble. I'm going to refresh. Okay, looks like Rumble is playing ads again. Alright, I'm going to skip that and go to BitChute. Hit play, make sure it's fine. Okay, that's fine. Alright, let me see if I can skip this ad. Okay, there's another ad. Alright. And YouTube, Dinesh says hi there and says, is PHP for the backend? Yes, PHP is for the backend. Yes, Dinesh, PHP is for the backend. So that's why I needed a server. So that's why I'm also using this development server as well. Okay, so let me bring up, I'm going to use the Chromium browser here. Okay, I want to make this small so you can see what's happening. Oh, come on. You're kidding me? I think that should do it. It's hard to see with all this glare. Okay, I think. Yeah, okay, I think that's good. Okay, so all you do is, okay, I'm just going to use localhost here. So I go localhost 8000, And because it's index.html, I don't need to put anything else in there. I just go and you see it open up here. So you see it loaded up this image. Oh, I forgot to load up the image. I apologize about that. I forgot to show you how I create this image. I'll drop back to the command and I'll show you how I generate the image. So what is that thing I promised to show you guys? Is it RGB or something like that? I forget. There's something to do with RGB. I forgot about that. Yeah. People are using Express.js, Next.js, and some more frameworks, right? Is PHP still used also? What is the advantage of PHP over other frameworks? That's what Dinesh is asking. So there's nothing wrong. I've repeated this several times. There's nothing, if you're comfortable in a language, whether it's JavaScript, whether it's Express.js, Next.js, use whatever you're comfortable doing. Here's the problem why I shy away from Node.js, especially. The problem is this includes even using frameworks like jQuery. I'll explain to you why. It's because when the times are good, this is from my personal opinion, a client will hire me or somebody else, and they say do whatever you want. So you can use. I've seen a lot of applications for where people use all these fancy frameworks, even PHP frameworks. The problem is, like for example, right now in a recession, the problem is because of frameworks use so many dependencies, some of them get abandoned. So in times like now, if I get hired, the client is not going to be able to afford to hire me to create or find replacements for all those things, right? So that's what I'm trying to say. So I prefer something like, say, PHP because it's maintained, right? They come up with a new version every year, but they do maintain the old ones for at least 3 years. So what I'm saying is that I don't need to worry about chasing all this other, these extensions and all of this. So that's what I'm getting at. It's the same thing. Even if you use something, say like WordPress has lots of plugins. I always tell my clients and everybody else who listens is that I have nothing against paid plugins. It's just that make sure it's maintained. You don't want to purchase something and then the person disappears in 3 months, right? So for example, if I go to WordPress and I see a plugin has been around for say 10 years, I know that it's popular. Paid or not is irrelevant. I know that if the author disappears, somebody will take over, especially if it's open source, and keep on maintaining. That's what I'm getting at. So don't like go buy a theme which has like 1,000 plugins. Yes, the people who buy themes which have 1,000 plugins and those plugins are not maintained. It's impossible to maintain them. That's my take on it. If you want to use Express.js as the Next.js, React, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying use something and stick to it. For example, I taught myself PHP over 20 years ago, right? And then in 2019, I started doing freelancing full time, and I still get work from PHP. Now, is PHP dying a little bit here and there? Possibly, but I also see stuff that was made not very long ago, like 3 years ago, using Node.js, and when I take a look at it, it's impossible to upgrade it because the majority of those plugins, extensions, they're abandoned, right? So the application is basically has to be thrown out and start again from scratch. But if you use PHP, for example, a few years ago, I'm not joking, like 4 years ago, I was able to upgrade a website that was a PHP WordPress website, and it was using PHP 4. So I was able to upgrade it to PHP 8, right? You see my point? That's what I'm trying to say is that use whatever you're happy with. For me, I like speed, so that's why I shy away a lot from the JavaScript stuff, but there's some really, really good. Like for example, I did Tori, and I was really blown away with it. So that is something that if I was to make quick applications, desktop, mobile, whatever, I would definitely use Tori again. In fact, I might come up with a tutorial soon, cross-platform tutorial to use that. Yeah. Exactly. Okay, so I got a little sidetracked. Yeah, I forgot what I was going to show you guys, but okay, maybe it'll come to me later. All right, so you see here it says change shoe color. Sorry about that. You see it's white. Oh, I remember. Yeah, I'm supposed to drop the command line. Guys, remind me later. I need to drop the command line to show you how it generated the shoes. Okay, so you see by default it uses this image which is white. So for example, if I click red here, you see it converted it to red. Now, if you notice something, as I said, you see here this part didn't turn into red. Neither this here. The reason for that is because, as you can tell right here, it's not white. It's like a dark, slightly, because that's because of the shadows. Even the back here and here, you see that was the one. Even here, you can see this line here. So that is because now you can go tweak those settings, maybe make it 180, etc. You can do that as well. So that's a problem. Now, for example, if we click green. Green is the same thing. This part here, inside here, and actually green does a pretty good job. You almost don't see. I can still see them, but see, green also does a pretty good job. Now, if this was pure white without the legs or anything, no shadows, yeah, this entire shoe would have been converted much better. But you can see here, so that's how this is dynamic. So if I go back to red, as you can see, or I can just refresh to go back to the default one. This is what I was trying to say, is like, remember I told you this lines here, this one's actually came out pretty well, but you can see this slight, it's not quite white, but those ones came out it came out too bad. So that's basically the tutorial. Oh yeah, what I wanted to show you is if we go here, I want to show you RGB color picker, I think it is. Yeah, this is what I wanted to show you. So you see, if we go here, this is white. Oh, this is not working. I thought I could select this. Does actually work, or I have to type in a number here? Okay, this is not working. Isn't there a color picker? Come on, I need a color picker. Okay, here we go. This is what I was trying to say. You see, white is 255. 255 and 255. This is pure white, right? Now it's even here. I'm going to use this color picker. So you see that's white. The problem is if you go off, like I go down here, you see that's gray. So that's a problem, right? So if I go here, you see the problem is this. None of this are white. See, even this one. So for example, if we go to 200, 200, 200, and 200. So this is, if you remember the, what do you call it? If you remember in the PHP code, anything that's greater than 200, 200, 200 will be converted to, like a red or a green color. The problem is we could have 200 here, and we could have something like, say, 185. You see the problem here now? This will not work, because this one could even be like 250, and this could be 250. So that will not work. So maybe the best option would be to, I said you can fool around with the code. It's just a few lines. So maybe you guys would decide, maybe make it 180, 180 or something like that. Then that could be better. So the code is there for you guys. That's what I wanted to show you here in the color picker. So that will get rid of these problems here. So the other thing I wanted to show you is, I want to show you how I generated this image. So I'll go back. I used, what did I use? Oh yeah, I'll show you. So I have to go to my folder. I have to go to the AI folder. And you guys, I was using Stable Diffusion CPP. I have multiple tutorials on that in the build folder. So in here, this is the program I'm going to use. It's this one, the Stable Diffusion CPP. So all I did was I dropped back to the command line. Where's the command line? Here's the command line. I'm not going to stop the server because I want to show you something else. So here, it's the same folder I'm in now. I'm going to rename this just in case the image comes out horribly. I'm going to rename this 01 because the image might come out really ugly. So all I did was alright, so I'll just paste it in here. I'm using absolute path, so you can see it goes to the Stable Diffusion in the mount/AI folder. In the build folder, I see bin/sd -m, that's the model. The model is in the Comfy UI, models, checkpoints is the v1 -5 -pruned -imonoli -fp16.sensors, and then the prompt is the -p here. It says shoe white, and then the output will be shoe_white.jpg. That's all I did. So I press enter. I don't need the font for this one. Let me zoom out. I don't need the font for this one. You see it should go pretty quickly. It doesn't need to use the, you see it's not even using the GPU, it's just using the CPU. So this should be finished very quickly. I'm going to show you the monitor so you can see what's going on. As you can see here, I'll make this a little bit smaller. No, I can't. Okay, maybe I'll put it down here. Okay, I'll put it up here. So you can see it's not using that much memory. Obviously, you need to have about probably 16 gigs of RAM because this is integrated graphics. So you can probably get away with probably 8 gigs of RAM. That should be enough. But because I have an integrated graphic, it uses it reserves 4 gigs of my RAM, and this is not true here because I think another 4 gig is used for the swap. It's called ZRAM. So as I said, you probably need about 8 gigs of RAM. Can you get away with 4 gigs? Possibly. I wouldn't chance it though. So I would say 8 gigs just to be on the safe side. You should be fine. And you see it's running the CPU. That's a little bit slow. And as you can tell, is it using all the CPUs, the threads? Doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it. Now you can also enable Vulkan or Open Blast and it'll go much faster. But this is fine. So I'll let it finish. While that's running, I'll leave this up here, so that's fine. So while that's running, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start up a source copy so you guys can see what it looks like on the mobile. Okay, so I should just be able to type in source copy here. Yes. Okay, I'm just going to scale this so you guys can see it as well while that's running in the background. I think it should be big enough. Oh, it's too big. Okay, so this is an old phone. It's a Sony Xperia XA1 Ultra. Here we go. So I'm just gonna, oh man, open it up. That doesn't matter. I think I need to put in Wi-Fi. Okay, Wi-Fi is on. I'm going to use the Chrome browser. I think that's the only browser in it. Okay, and then if you remember, just use the IP address of your device. If you don't know, you can go to your router. It will tell you what it is. Oh, Dinesh says, I'll check this video later. It's very late here in India. Bye, man. Thanks for replying. No problem, Dinesh. Hope have a good night and come back to watch a video. Video will be here. Okay, 168.1.106, and then colon 8000. As I was saying is that check your router. It will tell you the IP address of your workstation, or another option is if you're on Linux, you type ifconfig, one word. I think it's the same thing on a Mac. It will show you your IP address. And if you're on Windows, you can type ipconfig. Now Windows also has something called Windows System for Linux, WSL version 2 or whatever they call it. So you might also be able to get away with ifconfig if you have I guess a Linux installed. Okay, so you can see here. Okay, so it hasn't found the image yet because I renamed the image. So I'm just going to wait until this image is finished. Where are we? So it's a 19 out of 20. I'm going to see if this image is better than this one before I run this again. So I'm just going to wait. It's almost done. I said it's real slow because it's running on it's running on the CPU instead of using Vulkan or anything. I might have to rebuild it. I think I'll rebuild it with Vulkan and it didn't pick up the GPU for some reason. So okay, it finished. Let me see what this image looks like. Looks like it's the exact same image, right? It's like the exact same image. There's no difference. Wow, that is weird. It's the exact same image. There's no difference. Yeah, it's the exact same image. Okay, so I was hoping you would come up with maybe a better image, but it looks like that's fine. So all I do is how do I refresh here? I think I'll just go here and just press enter. Okay, so you see it loaded up. This is the image. It loaded up here. This is the mobile, by the way. So if I click green, you can see green. Again, I said the problem here is it's these shadows, because those are, as I explained in the RGBs, that's a problem here, and obviously here, and these shadows. So as I said, if you have some more intense thing, you could probably do a better job. And if you click red, you see it also works on your mobile. So this tutorial was requested by say one of my viewers. So I just wanted to show you, yeah, you're able to do this using just PHP. And so you can see with the red, you can see this line here and here. Green actually comes out much better because it kind of hides, I guess, because it's kind of like a fluorescent type of green. So you can't really see those lines, but they're still there. Yeah, for example, you can see this one right here, but green just looks a little bit better. So you can add another color like blue or something like that if you wish. You can easily, you can tweak the code to whatever you want. So if we go back to the code here, I can go to here. I can add another color here. For example, I can what's a blue color? Is it 255? I think that's blue. I think blue is 255. Let me double check on that. I think it's 0. Just to make sure. 0. Yeah, it's 255. Yeah, so that's blue. That's a blue color. It looks a little more purplish. Am I correct? That doesn't look like quite like blue. Is that blue? Okay. Oh no, not purplish. It looks okay. I guess that's blue. Oh yeah. So we go here. Oh, yeah. Sorry. It is blue. It's because this monitor is not 100% color accurate. That's why. So I'm just going to duplicate this. I don't remember how to duplicate it, so I'll just copy this and paste it here and put blue. When you see this comma here, programming languages now allow you to do that. In the past they were very strict. I wish they'd go back to being strict, but technically that shouldn't really be there. 255, so that's blue. So now we can add a blue color as well. So it's that, and then go back here, and we're going to add another button, and I'm going to copy this, and I can add blue. You can do this any way you want. So we're going to try blue, and it's going to be blue, and this will be blue. Okay. Now if we go back here, I hit how do you refresh? Okay, there we go. That's a refresh. So blue is here. So now I have red, I have green. What do you think is going to happen with blue? Let's keep our fingers crossed. And that's blue. You see that? Blue. There we go. So you can add as many colors you want. And I said you can fix this up, this gray color, by changing it, letting it being more, changing those colors, like maybe 190 or something like that. That's up to you. So, well, I said if you get a shoe that's pure white without any shadows, it'll work much better. As you can see, all the white parts here did a really good job. So this is the mobile version, and that's it. That's the entire tutorial. So we can also go back to the desktop here as well and just hit refresh, and I see red, green, blue, green, red, whichever you want. I'll leave it at green there, just to show you that it does work. Alright, so let's finish this up. In conclusion, in this simple tutorial, we demonstrate how to dynamically change the color of an image using PHP's GD library and JavaScript. You can extend this method for various uses, including custom product selectors or interactive features on your website. Want to learn more about PHP? If you're new to PHP or want to dive deeper into PHP programming, I recommend checking out my book, Learning PHP. It's available on Amazon. Links are in the description, which covers the fundamentals of PHP development in a beginner-friendly way. Additionally, I offer a comprehensive course called Learning PHP, available on ojamboshop.com. The links are also in the description, that covers all the essential PHP topics you need to build dynamic web applications. If you need one-on-one help, if you're looking for personalized help with PHP programming or need assistance with updating or migrating your PHP applications, feel free to contact me at ojambo.com/contact. for one-on-one programming tutorials or for consultations. Link is also in the description. Thanks for reading and happy coding. And with that said, I want to implore you again that you should subscribe, like, follow, leave comments, because it helps out the channel. The more people that subscribe or view these videos, the more that it actually the algorithm sends it out as well. So and I said it's good because it will people will request tutorials just like this one, which I'm happy to do. Or I said I'll share my own personal not just opinions, but my own life, like an ex-girlfriend used to say, life experience. And for example, like when Denise was asking some questions, I answered truthfully because I've actually been there, right? Real life examples. All right. So thanks for everybody who subscribed so far this month. Just keep it up. Thanks again. All right. So let's go back and finish this up. I also have some recommended resources. I live in a cabin in a rural area. There's no internet. Cellular service is sporadic. So what I do is I use the SpaceX Starlink residential service. So if you're thinking of getting the SpaceX residential service, please use my referral link. If you do use my referral link, I'll get 1 month free and you'll get a discount. For example, if you're in Canada, you'll get the equipment for free. I have the second generation, which is about 3 years old now. It works fine. And I said it was pretty expensive. Like I paid $350 in a discount, but people before me were paying over $1,000 Canadian dollars. So if you get the equipment for free, that's a fantastic deal. So take advantage of that and use my referral link. To get my referral link, just go to ojambo.com, pick any article and go down to recommended resources. You see I even created a little border here. It says recommended resources. You can just click the Starlink residential service. It will take you right there. Alright, the other one I have is this guy here. It's the Honeywell HeatBud Personal Ceramic Heater. It's available on Amazon. It has strip protection, meaning if it flips over, you see this little guy here. I'll turn it off. It has low, off, and high. Low uses 170 watts. High uses 250 watts. This little guy helped save me over $100 a month in heating costs. So this cabin is heated by a propane furnace. Propane is only used for heating. So my first year here, I was paying $250 a month. I know, crazy. I know it's a mild winter. Last winter, it was more harsh, but I managed, on the coldest month, which is February, I managed to pay $250. The reason for that is because I set the thermostat to 16 degrees Celsius, and because this is a space heater, it heats up my space. That's all I need. So I'm able to put it it's very close to me, and it just heats up the space like where I'm working. That's all I need. So one of the things I dislike about central HVAC is that it heats up the entire house. Even like rooms, I'm not going to be there forever. Hi, oh, I can't even say your name. Zanaxi? Hi. Okay, so yeah, so you pick this up. This is my affiliate link, meaning I'll get a commission if you do use my affiliate link to purchase it on Amazon. So that's there. And lastly, I have this novelette. It's called The Algorithmic Serpent. It's by me, Edward Ojambo, as you can see my name there. It's about a scientist who creates an AI system and loses his mind, and he has to gain control of his mind and the AI system. This is the back. As you can see, this is a real printed version. This is the paperback version. Oops, sorry about that. There we go. There's also an ebook version. The ebook version is free if you have Kindle Unlimited. So pick it up if you have the means. They're both pretty affordable. They're just basically at cost. Obviously, this one is for printing and shipping, and the ebook version is for storage. Okay, and yeah, so that's it. The links for all of that are also in my bio here. It says about Edward. As you can see, you can go straight to my book page on Amazon. If you need a support, ojamboservices.com/contact. And if you want to learn, ojamboshop.com, right there. The links are there. Again, pick any article, it'll be there. And then if you want to follow me, some people have requested where they can follow me. The best way to contact me is ojambo.com/contact. But you can also send me comments. For example, for the article, you can send a comment there. You can send a comment in any of these channels, which are down here in the footer, you see here I have Odyssey, Rumble, BitChute, and YouTube. So that's other ways you can contact me. But I said the best way to contact me is the contact form, the contact forms in any of the sites. All right, now I'm going to check the live chats. We're going to start with Rumble. There's no chat there in Rumble. We'll go to BitChute. There's no chat there today. And Odyssey, there's nothing. YouTube, there was actually a few chats. Thanks again, everybody who joined the live chat. So I am going to end this now, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's tutorial. So if you want to know what's going on tomorrow, visit ojambo.com or any of the channels, and then go to the watch menu live summit. You can see what we're doing tomorrow. Tomorrow's a fun tutorial. You guys are going to enjoy that. Yeah, we're going to reinstall Comfy UI. Okay, guys. So that's it. Have a great day. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't.